Today we're going to look at some of my thotty decks. And I can already see, like, sometimes I misplace some decks. But I'm going to do the crate as is, and I can already see one that isn't thotty at all. So let's start this shit show off with that. It's the Lumina Tarot, which is not thotty at all, but it's really cool. It's the French edition by Arcana Sacra. So like I said, not thotty at all, but I can talk about it. I can talk about what I like about this deck. I like that this French edition is actually like good quality and usable, unlike the Indie edition. It is affordable, unlike the Indie edition, and it is stunning. Lauren Arletta is the writer of this deck. She didn't illustrate a single card, so just want that to be clear. I feel like credit should be given where credit is due. Apparently, the guidebook for this deck is amazing. I don't read French that well, but I fell in love with the illustrations. It's really, really dope. I was like, is this in order? But it isn't. I'm not going to go through all of it. It's not thotty at all. It's kind of Wild Unknown-esque, but more people-y. And, yeah, this is such a good all-purpose deck. The French titles don't bother me at all. You know, that's the big perk of living in Europe and growing up in a country where you kind of, like, are forced to learn multiple languages. Doesn't mean I have to be a master at all of them, but yeah, this is such a dope deck. I used to see this a lot on Instagram. Its hype has kind of died down a little bit, which I think is weird, because this deck is the bomb. Really pretty art, really good quality cardstock. Yeah, I dig it. Is it very thotty? No. So should it be in this box? No. So I need to find the right place to put this, because this doesn't belong in the thotty box at all. But I guess I just thought, hey, there's room left here, so let me just put it there. As you saw, there isn't a guidebook in this box because this comes in a Wild Unknown-esque kit where you have a hard, a rigid box within another box. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but for this deck I am, because I'm not going to use the guidebook anyways, and I just love it. So yeah, now that we got that one out of the way, which one am I even going to start with? Oh man, the Tabula Mundi by M.M. Moline. Stunning set. There was this option to get all these extra cards, extra bonus cards. You couldn't really see them anywhere, so I was like, yeah, let's throw those in. And I regret that till this day, because I never use them and I don't like them at all. So this is what the backs look like with that stunning hollow, as you can see. And this is what the fronts look like. It's very, very Thothian. I think it's absolutely stunning. She is such a great artist. I believe it's a she. I'm not sure about that. It's so unapologetically Thoth, but with its own spin on it. I also really like the other one she did, the Rosa Mundi. I don't know. This is a Tabula Mundi, and there's another one she did that I like as well, which has a bit more of a raw, less refined art style. The super highly saturated colors that are in here are just stunning. This is the perfect version, or the perfect hand version, she says. This devil is just stunning, because the original deck is really big, then she did this really tiny pocket version, and then she sort of released this medium version, which is still pretty pocket. So, let me show you this 10 of discs. I mean, so yeah, what I like about Thoth is that it's pips with feelings. I loved learning about it. I also love that the elemental court card associations are on the card here. But yeah, this is a stunning deck. It's quite pricey, and it's, you know, their web shop is a little bit meh. But this is such a stunning set. Even the box with that huge ass ribbon in it that you can fold over, and the box has this really dope linen texture to it. The lid is very loose though, so you can't store it exactly the way you might want to, but yeah. Up next is the Hardy Tarot, which is really cute, by Colleen Hardy. This is a Make Playing Cards deck. You can tell by the cardstock, by the smell, but she only sells it through her own Etsy whenever she decides that she wants to do another print run. Very thotty, kind of a mix. It's not like pure Thoth clone. It's kind of a mix of the Thoth and the Rider-Waite-Smith. It kind of has, her illustrations have that 70s feel, which I like. There are these really interesting close-ups in the court cards. It's very zany. I love this fool. I just love her work. I also have her Lenormand, which is also very heavily 70s influenced. I think Colleen Hardy is a stunning artist. This looks like, you know, a long-lost US Games deck from the 70s or the 80s. That's what this looks like. And I love it. This Knight of Discs, like, need I say more? I mean, this just oozes me. And I haven't really been using my Thoth decks that much. So this may actually be, you know, and, you know, I'm going to film this for all the crates. So you're going to hear me saying, oh, I'm going to work with this deck more. I'm going to work with that deck more. But, you know, there's only 7 days in a week. And, yeah. So I will never be able to, you know, work with all of them or, you know, hold on to my promises. But, you know, it's just good to, like, kind of reacquaint yourself with what you have. Up next, the Hermetic Tarot. Martin gifted this to me. This is a US Games deck, I believe. Yeah, it is. And it's in black and white. It kind of reminds me of Benabel Wynn's deck a little bit, which I think is really cool. And this has the full titles of the cards on there. So the Seven of Cups, even in Rider-Waite-Smith, it's no different. It's called the Lord of Illusionary Success. So this is very much based upon the esoteric workings of the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn, which is also what Thoth is based off of. So 7 of Wands, 8 of Wands, wow, stunning. So this is very Thothy. It's very much a reimagining of Lady Frida Harris's work, sometimes more so than others, in black and white. And I think it's stunning. I think it's really, really pretty. It really has this, like, alchemical, old school feel to it. I'm not always in the mood for this. I did kind of, like, learn that monochromatic decks are not always my thing. However, it's a really, really good, this is a really good study deck, essentially. Also, if you want to learn how to work with the proper names of the cards, actually. Because every card is a lord. The Lord of Harmonious Change, that's 2 of Pentacles. Lord of the Triumph of Light, that's the Chariot. Like, some of these have really cool zany titles. Lord of the Forces of Life. Lord of the Fire of the World, the Sun. Stunning. Like, really, really cool. Really dope deck. Yeah, I use this one when I'm in the mood for it. When I'm in the mood for that, like, uber extreme hermeticism. That's when I use this. If you want to do a proper, like, deep dive into that, you know, this kind of is your deck. So, these US Games tuck boxes are atrocious, though, by the way. Ooh, this has to be one of my favorites, the Liberty Tarot of the Stars Eternal. I really hope that one day they do a re-release of this that's, you know, borderless and has only English on there. Or Italian for all I care. I don't care. Because this art is just too pretty to have these ghastly 4-language or 6-language borders on here. It is pretty cool, though, that they also used to print Dutch on here. So the biggest European, Western European languages are on here. The majors in this are very much Thoth, but make it in the style of this artist because he has this very stylized, distinct style. The minors have the Thothian thing going on over here, but then they have the Decans symbolization over here, which I think is really interesting, really cool. I never really did a deep dive into it. I just got it because it looks so dope. And yeah, it's just stunning. It's so heavily stylized, this artwork. And I think it's just really cool. This Aeon, wow. Yeah. 6 of Swords, really, really dope. This Knight of Spheres, they're called spheres, not discs in here. Lust, once again. It's absolutely stunning. Not a deck for beginners, but then again, which Thoth Golden Dawn deck is, right? They're not really meant to be for beginners. You're kind of, I mean, you can begin with a Thoth deck, but it's not going to be an easy start. And, you know, I didn't have an easy start when it comes to tarot. And, I mean, I never liked doing things the easy way, so that kind of fit me. Of course, the classic. This is actually the mini version. Because I can't deal with those big-ass actual cards. As much as I love them, let's put all these bonus bits to the side. The iconic backs, wow. 30 pages of text in La Milo Duquette's book, maybe even more, just about the backs, and I was like, yes, I want that. So yeah, oh man, like this totally like inspired my own tarot deck as well. But there's just something so otherworldly to this, so amazing, so great, so perfect. It's just so cool. I love Lady Frida Harris's artwork. It evokes so much more in me than Pamela Coleman Smith's, although I do love that as well, but there's just so much to look at. This is definitely more of a meditation deck as well, and I just think it's stunning. The discs and the wands are by far my favorite in the deck. I love this adjustment. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. This Ace of Swords is really dope. I kind of use this as an inspiration for my deck as well. And this size, really, 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 really like it. The reason why I don't use it for others that much is because of the fact that sometimes people get scared of the card titles on the card. But I have a neat solution for that, because this actually isn't in the box, but it's literally next to my table because I play with it all the time. Oops, already opened the box. That's not very handy. Is the Millennium of Thoth, Renata Lechner's reinterpretation of Lady Frida Harris's work. Sometimes more successful than others. However, very stunning. So this is essentially practically the same, but a bit more modern and a bit more literally of this millennium. And you can see that, and you can feel that. This doesn't have titles on the cards, which is good for me because people get less scared of them. I think she did a really great job. I wish we would see more of these. Like, we see so many RWS reinterpretations, and I wish we would see more Thoth-esque interpretations of index in the deck universe, in the deck world. this Ace of Cups. I mean, come on. Like, she's really good with Photoshop, Illustrator. She does really cool, original, funky stuff. And yeah, me likes it. Me likes it a lot. Oh yeah, this Eight of Swords. Wow. Stunning. So yeah, this needs to actually go back into my Thoth box because it was out there all this time. So it needs to get back in with its homies. Ooh. The Outgrow Yourself Oracle and Tarot. It's very much a Thoth deck. Ecta Spellman, which means real fortune teller. It's a real fortune teller, Oracle, and Tarot for real fortune tellers. Really, really dope. Doesn't come with the book. Does come with stunning art and the card titles on there rather than the number. But it's stunning. It's really good. It totally like changed the game when it comes to my Thoth readings. Like for the Aeon grow out of it. Oh man, like the whole story about the Aeon card is, I'm not going to retell it, but it's just such a stunning way. Studying the Thoth is like, it's so much fun because it is hard, but it is wow moment after wow moment. Here, he who learns must suffer. 3 of Hearts. That is like my jam. That is the interpretation. Princess of Cups. What is keeping you caged? I mean, and there's actually a lot of really smart little references to the actual Thoth in here that you may or may not recognize. But follow your passion, lust. Expose your true self, Queen of Swords. I mean, yes, it's so good, guys. And a couple years back, this type of artwork would have scared me off, but there's something so real and raw. And the creator is such a badass. Like, she literally embodies all those cards. A slightly softer deck, but very much in the same vein as all the other Thoth decks, is the Tarot of the Spirit. A once highly sought after deck for me that came back into print. And I mean, is it completely Thoth? No. Is it very Thoth-esque? Yeah. So this was done by a mother and daughter duo, which I do adore. We're getting a lot of water here. So rather than the card titles, we get these really nice symbolic allegories at the bottom, which I adore, which work very well for me. I'm a very alchemical reader that reads according to numerology, the elements, some nerdy math stuff, and some intuition, and I think it's really cool. Here, Karma for 11. The Wheel of Fortune. Oh my god, these cards are just amazing. Yeah, so is this a Thoth clone? No. Does it belong in the Thoth style decks? Yeah. And this is really good. I mean, you can't deny it. This Brother of Earth, I mean, this artwork, y'all, a lot of you are sleeping on this deck because it doesn't have that same old illustration style that you already have 20 to 30 decks of. If you would just open your minds to the craziness that is this deck, you would be completely wowed. The big guidebook you can get for it is amazing as well. I mean, this is just such raw energy, and it's insane. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh man, like, the thing is, you know, the thing with the borders, and once again, may sound very superficial, but it's, you know, it's how I be sometimes. It's not that, it doesn't photograph the best. So when it comes to my Instagram pics, you know, it's not something that I would reach for. However, for client usage, hell to yeah. Another one that I thought I would love, but never really fell in love with, is the Arcana Iris Sacra by Labyrinthos. Stunning box. Production quality is on point. The cards are very long and slender. It has this gorgeous gold foil inlay on the back. It has gold foil edges, and it has a more minimalist, cartoony style. And, you know, to be quite honest, this is pretty cool. It's very pastel. I once, like, wanted to get rid of it, and then I was like, no, I can't. There's something about this deck that keeps pulling me in. And it's so different, you know. I think it is the fact that we just don't see decks like this very often, you know. Every now and then a new one comes out, and you're like, I love, like, I kind of do understand what people have with the Rider-Waite-Smith now that I'm looking at all these Thoth decks, where people usually have, you know, I love seeing different iterations of this art, this visual world that Lady Frida Harris created. So I guess it must be the same for people who work with and love seeing the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's just that the balance is a bit, like, far off at this point in time. But it's stunning. It's really stunning. It's really cool. So this is definitely, like, this together with Tarot of the Spirit, I'm definitely like, yeah, I'm putting those kind of in the front because it needs to be enjoyed more. This box, though, it's really cool, but that ribbon closure thing, honey, that doesn't work at all. Oh, at all. It just doesn't work. It never fully closes. A magnetic clasp would have been way cooler. I love Tina Gong's work, though. I don't know if she does all the illustrations herself. But yeah, it is a dope deck. Another one. And I think I may actually have more Thoth-esque decks just laying about because I love using them so much and I love playing with them. But this is what's in the box right now. This is one I don't really like. The Zilliq Tarot. I prefer the Tarot of the Spirit. This is a bit too flowy for me. Christine Zilliq's art. It is cool. Just a bit too flowy. A bit too soft. But then again, looking at it again now, I'm like, ooh, that's actually really pretty. So I actually once again, like doing these videos because they really make me appreciate what I have. And I have a lot, so, you know, why not take your time every now and then to appreciate them more? And I could do that by myself, but I actually really enjoy doing it together with you. So yeah, this actually is really cool. And I should probably... There's just a couple of dopey cards that kind of made me go, meh, don't really like it. But it's actually really cool. Yeah, like, for example, this Fool, no. No, sis, that's not it. But yeah, it's actually... It's pretty dope, actually. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Is it my favorite out of the bunch? No. I definitely prefer the Tarot of the Spirit over this, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, I have so many more, like, decks in weird places. The next one that I'm gonna close off with is the She-Wolf Tarot. This box is big, y'all. Doesn't even fit on the screen. This is one of my most prized possessions. I love Devaney Amber Wolf's artwork. This has gorgeous rose gold edges, and the cards are just stunning. Very feminist deck. Very, she calls it her most, this kind of gets called very Thothy by a lot of people, and I guess it is. I don't always see it. In some cards I do, in other cards I don't. But this is probably one of my favorite decks. This is definitely a summertime deck for me. I tend to get pulled towards it more during summertime, probably because of all the desert-like illustrations, but I just can't get enough of this. I do feel like her decks are a bit overpriced, if I'm quite honest. But, you know, even I caved because it's just, the artistic value is there and it's just too good to pass on. At least for me, someone who loves really funky art. And once again, this kind of has a 70s aesthetic. I'm in love with everything, you know, not just the photo collage, but even like when it comes to graphic design, the font, the choice of back design. It's even in the guidebook, the guidebook has this gorgeous layout, the box as well. It's so very, very retro and built to stand the test of time. Like even these cards, they're pretty glossy, but I can tell you already, they're gonna last me a lifetime. So yeah, definitely a favorite. And also this edition, like the first 2 editions she did, those were the best. Everything that came after, I feel like, is kind of a watered down version of what was already great and didn't need any change at all. Do I see any other thotty decks lying about that I can just grab just like that? No. Well, no, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.